dream I know deep up my feelings for you.
President Bola Tinubu may announce new minimum wage on Workers' Day. Alright people, welcome back to this wonderful channel as we bring you back-to-back updates and information as it is hot. In case it's your first time of joining this wonderful channel, kindly go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, share, and also remember to turn on the notification bell to get notified whenever we drop our video so that now you go be the first to watch them. People don't be small matter they happen for this country. Now the matter where I can give on be said the education have emerged that President Bola Tinubu may announce the new minimum wage on May 1st in commemoration of the International Labour Day, and he backdates the implementation to April. It was gathered that the International Minimum Wage Committee was working to ensure that all negotiations regarding the new rates were finalized before then, with the expectation that the president would announce the new minimum wage in his Workers' Day address. So a member of the committee spoke to us on the condition of anonymity because of the sensitive nature of the issue. They said that by next week the minimum wage committee will meet again, that it is a continuous meeting. That is a meeting where all the reports from the zonal public hearings will be collated and reported. So as they all know, that will give the committee the direction to work with. That their target is to ensure that Mr. President announces the minimum wage by the 1st of May, which is the Workers' Day, for it to take effect from April. So they are working to meet the timeline. So they were reminded that the current minimum wage of 30,000 would cease to be valid on March 31st. The committee member also said that it was unlikely that the new rate would be ready before then. So there was still a long way to go in arriving at an expected minimum wage for the country. Though they have not gotten to the negotiation point yet, but when they finish with the zones, it is the aggregated of what they collect from the zones that will determine the direction of the main committee. Now that they have finished with the zones, when the committee meets, they will now collate all the position of the zones and committee members. The position of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Trade Union Congress, and Nigeria Employer Consultants Association and the government will be looked at. Then they will look at the aggregates, find a percentage, and arrive of what they were agreed on. They said they are going to make some adjustments, and they are sure that the committee will also have the private meeting with president. Then they will look at the ability to pay. The Nigeria Employers Consultative Association will also be involved, and they will see how they marry those angles. That is not going to be a one-stop affair. That when they contacted the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Idris Mohammed, he did not take his call, and he had to respond to the text on WhatsApp messages sent to his mobile line as of the time of filing this report. Also, the special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Bayo Nanogar, said that he was not so conversant with the internal deliberations of the committee, but he affirmed that talk were going on among the committee members, who he noted were cognizant of the urgency of their assignments. So, however, a presidential aide who spoke on the condition of anonymity because he was not the official spokesperson for the president said that President Bola Tinubu might not wait for May 1st before announcing the minimum wage, that the law says it should be concluded by early April, that if the parties agree, why do they have to wait to make the announcement? Because they are negotiating, and the law says negotiation should be completed by April. Now, the organized labor has warned the state governors that they will not accept anything less than full implementation whenever the new minimum wage becomes law, as it is ready to go into battle with such governors. So the labor position is coming at the time when the governors are asking the National Minimum Wage Committee to consider each state's peculiarity in arriving at and acceptable figures, that even as the panel is compiling the report of its public hearing in the different zone. So the two labor centers in the country, the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress, are unanimous in rejecting the governor's position. So they are warning that it is a recipe for prolonged industrial unrest. Every day ended, the Nigeria Governors Forum urged the National Minimum Wage Committee to take into account the present circumstances, unique characteristics of individual states, and the effect on both the government and the private sector employees, the ability to pay when determining the wage amount. In the communique issue after the virtual meeting signed by their chairman, Kwara State Governor Abdulrahman, made available to journalists on Thursday, stated that members review the progress of the National Minimum Wage Committee and ongoing multi-stakeholders engagement towards agreeing on a fair minimum wage. That they should consider the current reality, individual states' peculiarity, and consequential impact on the capacity of the government as well as private sector employees to pay. Members also should emphasize that the need for proposal to be data-driven and evidence-based. That before now, the labor union has said that the existing national minimum wage of 30,000 was no longer realistic, citing the steep inflation rate of 31.7% in February from 29.9%. That was reported by the National Bureau of Statistics in January. Because in January, the federal government inaugurated the tripartite committee responsible for deliberating on the national minimum wage. The Vice President, Kashim Shettima, inaugurated the 37-member panel at the Council Chamber of the State House in Abuja, comprising representatives of the federal and state governments, the private sector, and organized labor. The committee's mandate is to propose a revised national minimum wage for the nation. So during the zonal public hearing in Lagos, Kano, Enugu, Akwa Ibom, Adamawa, and Abuja, workers in the Northwest requested 485,000. Northeast requested 560,000. North Central requested 709,000. So, however, Adamawa and Bauchi state government suggested that 45,000 as the new minimum wage. Now, the Nigerian Labour Congress on Friday said governors who fail to implement the new minimum wage when it becomes a law would be breaking the law. That the Congress noted that it was working towards ensuring that tougher sanction would be met on such governors. In an exclusive interview in Abuja, the spokesperson for the Nigerian Labour Congress, Benson Okpa, noted that while the federal government had never defaulted in the payment of minimum wage, governance has never performed up to the task. That he wants to tell us that any state that refuses to pay the minimum wage will be breaking the law because it will be a national law. That the present minimum wage of 30,000 was consensual. So the governors who have refused to pay are breaking the laws. That one of the things they are trying to do with the present negotiation is to ensure that enough sanctions are provided. So they are going to ensure that sanctions are sufficiently enough, and it's going to be tougher to dictate such criminally minded governors. That when it comes to minimum wage, the federal government has been adhering, so they really can't recall a situation of default in terms of payment of the minimum wage by the federal government. They should allow things to happen before making it public. Now, if this announcement fails to happen on that same day, people will feel disappointed and start murmuring. Come to think of it, how many state governors are able to pay old minimum wage, not to talk of new one? Tinubu should stop deceiving Nigerians. New minimum wage this time is baseless because workers wouldn't survive with a bad economy. So they should finalize everything before bringing it to public. Let it not look like subsidy time. That was the same way they announced student loan and some other government policies and interventions. But till date, we haven't seen their implementation. So guys, I would like to know your thoughts, your contributions, your opinions in the comment section. We'd love to hear from you. Let's keep the conversation lively in our comment section. Once again, thank you all so much for staying to us. We really do appreciate. On this note, we have come to the end of today's segment. Like, comment, next. Stay safe, guys. Bye.